you're looking forward to midnight swims, don't.
Let's sneak on back to the campsite. Get some matches. Build us a hot fire.
Don't be long.
And if you're thinking about being with someone where no one can see you, don't. Because this summer, A Legend of Terror isn't just a campfire story anymore.
Hello listeners, here is Dee, your favorite Austrian sicko from the new site bobaxis.com, and I welcome you to another horror-themed podcast just in time for Halloween 2017. I'm here with my guest Nick, the butcher from New Jersey, as we call him. Nick, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Thank you folks for allowing me and my voices to enter your heads.
It's funny, you know, every time I introduce it, yeah, I want to ask, I feel urge to ask, do you want some baschetti?
Do you like baschetti?
Nick, do you want some baschetti?
I like baschetti. Anybody who hasn't seen the movie doesn't know what the fuck's going on right now.
Doesn't matter. Today we're going to talk about one of the most popular and prolific subgenres of horror. I think you could say that. Namely slasher movies. And we are going to list our top 5 from that particular subgenre. And it wasn't as easy a task as it sounds. I mean, the most slasher movies are sequelized, or with spin-offs or whatever, remakes. Nick, what is your relation to slasher movies in general? Are you a fan? Or what is your perspective on them?
Since for most of my life that I've been watching horror films, especially growing up in the 80s, I guess you could say I started with slashers, but I never really considered myself a fan of them. I was more into more supernatural things, monsters, werewolves, zombies. I liked more over-the-top type of horror, and more grotesque. You know, slasher movies generally, especially the American ones, weren't very gory. Blood, but, you know. More recently, I started appreciating them more, watching different ones, getting away from just the Jason and the Michael Myers and the, you know, the typical shit. And a lot of the goofier stuff that came out. But over time, I consider myself more of a fan now. Mm-hmm. Just depends on the film. They can be enjoyable. Mm. How about you? What do you think? Do they still hold up for you after all these years?
I think they have, for a long time, they have been a kind of a comfort zone for me, you know. I'm a person who is more convinced that art is more about the how than the what. You know, I never bothered that those movies are cliched, predictable or something. I think that's actually part of the appeal. It's like watching a Columbo movie. You know what is going to happen. You just want to see how it is going to happen. You want to have those ingredients in there. And so this was always kind of a comfort zone for me, those movies. Just was good fun. But actually it's the other way around for me. Recently I got a bit fed up with those. I mean, there are still a few, many I enjoy. We will talk about them today. But this is particularly with all those sequelized slashers. As much as I loved them back then, and as much as I enjoyed them, now they were going to reboot Halloween like for the 4th time. I don't know.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that one. I'm looking forward to it because allegedly John Carpenter is going to be pretty hands-on with this.
Yeah, no.
He hasn't been all that faithful in a very long time either, though.
Actually, the John Carpenter part doesn't convince me at all. I think he's just there to catch a check. Most of his interviews in the recent time, if you read them, it was all about him saying, "Oh, they're doing a remake. Okay, I'm here to cash the check." Really.
I respect that honesty, though.
Absolutely.
Not many directors and producers have the balls to come out and say it like that.
Yeah, but I think he will say the same thing about this movie. Just as soon as the marketing wave is over.
Well, come on, we've got a Halloween movie from the people behind Pineapple Express. So, I mean, your hopes got to be through the roof.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't care, actually. I think I don't have a problem with these movies being rebooted or anything. It's just that it seems like, I mean, this is the biggest news, you know what I mean? Right now, yes. in one of the biggest news in the horror community. That is the thing that kind of bothers me a little. It's just the whole discourse is mostly about Jason, Freddy, and Myers. I mean, I'm part of a few horror movie groups on Facebook, and I see Jason once a day or twice a day. picture of
It's
it.
fucking, it's redundant and it's boring. Everyone knows these people exist and they're not going anywhere. We could all just shut up for a little while about these guys. Because there are great films that are getting buried over time.
Exactly. And I
Great
think
films that are just getting buried and forgotten about for fucking just more Jasons and more Freddys and more Michael Myers and fucking God knows what else.
Yeah, and I think this is also a bit the motivation for this podcast today. That we're talking about the more forgotten slasher movies, or less prominent.
We need to showcasing the bastard stepchildren of slashers.
Yes, exactly. That's a good way to put it. So we made a ranking of 5 movies. I have no particular... It's not a particular ranking, actually.
Nah.
Just, top 5 in no particular order. And I'm not a fan of rankings either. So I just will go right into it. Nick, what did you choose for number 5?
All right, our first one I want to talk about is Just Before Dawn. 1981. Director of, what's his name? Fucking Joe Lieberman or some shit. Forgive me if I don't have all of my details correct. But he is the director. He did a film called Blue Sunshine, which has a pretty good cult following. So if that rings any bells. Just Before Dawn, 1981. Certainly influenced from the success of Friday the 13th about some campers in the woods who have a killer. But there's something kind of different about this movie. It has just as many things working against it as going for it. I like the movie. It's not about a summer camp. It's not kids. It's a group of 20-somethings, so it seems. One of the friends, he becomes owner of this plot of land in the woods. So they're going to go camp out in this dude's new land that he owns.
Right.
And you got George Kennedy, of all peoples, in the movie. He plays a park ranger. But there's like there's like a little hillbilly family you find out lives in the woods and stuff. So like, whose land is it? You gotta, it's all that whole thing. So they're just there camping, having a good time. They're a little more interesting than your average campers in these movies. Nothing special. They're just people, but they feel very real.
Yeah.
Which is kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
They're not, because so many of these people and these other movies, you have your over the top clown type character, then you have your super virginal. You have archetypes. These are just like people. You know what I'm saying? These are more believable people instead of archetypes. So anyway, they begin being killed little by little by this big inbred hillbilly looking dude who kind of like laughs and wheezes like a pig. And then they get warning from like this old hillbilly dude and Ma and this fucking daughter who roams the woods, and y'all gonna wake the devils and all this shit. Y'all went and woke the devil. And then you find out there's a nice twist. Well, fucking, I'm going to give the twist away, because if you were to Google the film right now, stupid fucking plot synopsis gives the twist away right in fucking 2-sentence description. So fuck it, I'm just going to tell you. This dude's killing these fucking people, and then you find out they're actually a set of twin brothers, which explains how he managed to be at like 2 places at once, seemingly, at some points. So you find out they're actually these inbred twins. It's pretty good. It's slow, but has enough little weirdness to kind of move things along. Jack Lemmon's son is in it. He gets a nice kind of torturous death, which is pretty good. And the climax is pretty badass. The way our final girl kills the final brother at the end is pretty awesome. Because, like I said, for this pretty deliberately paced film that kind of remains grounded in reality as far as these things can go, this chick, to take out this dude, just jumps right up, shoves her fucking fist down his throat, and just chokes him with her fucking fist. Which I was like, okay, I like this movie. I was unsure for the whole thing. I'm like, I don't know if I like this movie or not. There are good things, but I'm like, she just choked this motherfucker with her fist. I like this movie.
This is really, this is unusual. This is brutal.
Yeah, it was a good ending.
Yeah.
I liked it. What do you have next?
Yeah, funny enough, I also have a movie from 1981. I think it was a good time for slasher movies. I think there was a bigger variety. I think
they were all 1981.
Yeah. So it's Happy Birthday to Me, directed by J. Lee Thompson. I didn't even look up what else he made. Doesn't matter. Slasher movie from Canada, which is a little unusual. Melissa Sue Anderson is the main girl. Plot is a group of students gets killed off, and she may be a split personality or not. We don't know. There's a bit of a very goofy twist at the ending, but also kind of awesome. It's unusual as it is 1 hour and 50 minutes long. It's a very long entry for a slasher movie.
Yeah, definitely.
It has a bit more of a better style going than most slasher movies, visually and in points of atmosphere. Has a bit of an yeah, not artistic edges, maybe it's a little too much, but it's a bit of a slicker movie. And the funny thing is there's another movie that came out in the same year from Italy. I wrote a review.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little girl, also known as Madhouse. And here's the funny thing. Both movies have the completely exact same showdown, but it's a very specific showdown. Now I spoiled one of these movies for the people who saw the other movie, but whatever, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, what can you do? It's very specific and it's identical. And I looked it up. The other one, the Italian movie, came out before, just 1 month before. I can also recommend
so
this one. It's also fun. Yeah, it's a very just one of those very weird
bizarre
coincidences. Yeah, I like this. And that's also funny. It has an ending theme, the title song, Happy Birthday to Me, sung by Sarita. And it's actually a cool song. It's like a Bond song for a slasher movie, you could say. It's
Nice.
very interesting. Yeah. I can recommend this for being a little more psychological, a little more stylish slasher movie.
Yeah, I still need to see that one. My wife's a big fan of it. She always talks about it.
Actually, it's kind of controversial. Many people think it's not good. I don't know. Just check it out for yourself. Yeah. It's also maybe interesting that on the poster of the movie poster there is announced how many deaths there are in the movie.
That's good advertising right there.
I mean, that's old school advertisement, I think. Really. 6 bizarre deaths or something. Yeah.
The senior class snobs. Before they get to celebrate, 6 of them will die in the most bizarre ways you'll ever see.
Okay, Nick, let's go to number 4. What did you pick?
I'm going to get this one out of the way because I talked about it the last time we had our chats. I'm going with Terror Firmer.
Yeah.
In my opinion, just the Lloyd Kaufman Trauma masterpiece. It is the ultimate trauma film, in my opinion. It is a total celebration of itself. It celebrates trauma. It celebrates what it is. It's a very meta type of film, but at its core, it is a slasher film. It is about a killer on the set of a trauma film. And it is very much inspired by a giallo, I would say, because you're not sure who this killer is. It's a big mystery. Some very unique gender bending going on with the possible killer or killers. It's gory. It's ridiculous. It's fucking hilarious. It is extremely clever film. It's a really excellent film, but it really, really is a slasher movie, and it's got a pretty cool mystery to it. You kind of see, it's given away kind of early. You kind of, you got to be an idiot not to figure it out at a certain point. But it's still done really well, and packs a lot of surprises, a hell of a lot of laughs, some nasty gore, and it's just a really fun movie. It still feels fresh after, almost 20 years, and I highly recommend it. Just a lot of fun.
To my shame, I didn't come around to see it yet.
You really should. It's really good. It seems that a lot of people haven't really seen that one. I've been seeing it mentioned more recently in recent years when people talk about trauma, but everybody sticks to Toxic Avenger and Class of Nukem High, and those are wonderful movies, and a lot of the non-Lloyd Kaufman stuff people bring up. But Terror Firmer is really a fucking exceptional film.
It's a newer one though, yeah?
1998.
Okay, yeah.
It has a great making of documentary with the DVD too. It still has yet to be released on Blu-ray, which I'm waiting for. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to snatch that shit up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a great film. You should definitely see it. What do you got?
Maybe, yeah, this is from 2000, my next movie. Cherry Falls, directed by Geoffrey Wright, starring the late Brittany Murphy. Could you say it?
Brittany Murphy.
And Michael Biehn as her dad. That's really funny casting here. And there's a satirical edge to it, but it's a much better satire of slasher movies than Scream. There's a small town called Cherry Falls, and the killer is killing teenagers who are still virgins.
Cherry Falls.
So they get the hint because he's always carving the word virgin into the upper thighs.
I like that.
So yeah,
that's what I would.
It's a nice twist on the old cliche that the killer only kills teenagers that are promiscuous. It's a fun movie. Just I don't think there are many movies that end with an orgy.
I love that. There's another one I gotta see. Shit.
That's a fun movie. I mean, it's in that case the kills are not that very original, which is one of the main draws of slasher movies. The suspense isn't really worth a mention either. It's just a lot of fun. Just a very good dialogue, very good acting actually, especially at the end by the killer. I won't spoil it that here because it's very good actually. Just a lot of great lines in one-liners in this movie. And a really very good subversive edge to it. Also a little about the dark side of sexuality. So it gets a little under your skin. There's a nasty streak to it. I cannot recommend this movie enough. For some reason it's a little forgotten. There have been a lot of newer slasher movies around the time following Scream, like Legend and what was the other one? I Know What You Did Last Summer. I hate that movie. Oh boy, that's
a piece of shit.
I mean, I don't care for it, but I'm always really baffled how many people love that movie, you know what I mean?
Oh my god, I remember I got dragged to see Scream 2 in the movies, the fucking theater. I just went fucking about half hour and I just wanted to take a shit on the floor and leave. It was a fucking terrible movie.
It's terrible indeed. I do have a soft spot for Legend, though, I have to admit, so I'm sorry. It's crap, yes it is.
But this Cherry Falls, that's another one my fucking wife loves. I've never seen. She always says, "Oh, it's fucking great. You got to see it." And I'm like, "Yeah, we'll get to it."
What's your number 3, Nick?
I'm going with The Burning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, The Burning from 1981, like all the rest of them, 1982 or 3 or early 80s. Yeah. Again, Friday the 13th ripoff. But this one is actually inspired by the actual campfire tale that was popular around New Jersey and New York State about the murderer Cropsey. And it is inspired by like I said, an actual little folk tale there about a counselor who was a bit of a drunk and a suspected pedophile. Campers used to pull all kinds of pranks on him and fuck with him all the time. And they accidentally lit him on fire. And they pulled a prank. The dude ends up burning in fire. Survived. He was treated in the hospital and he survived. And now he goes back to the camp to get revenge and start killing people. And what I think is cool, he uses garden shears to kill. That's very cool. It's got some nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's got some good depths. You don't see his face till the very end, so they save the burnt up grotesqueness of his face till the end. And it looks cool. It doesn't look 100% convincing. But it's pretty cool when they finally show his face. Like, this fucker's ugly. And here's a testament to fucking how ugly this actor was in real life. He doesn't look all that different than he did at the beginning of the film. So that shows you how ugly that actor was, really. And he kind of guy had like a natural kind of big face. And when you see him with this totally different face, you're like, yeah, that's still that dude. I can tell. But some interesting things about the film. It's got a couple of would-be stars in it. We've got Jason Alexander. Yeah. Well-known character actor, Seinfeld alumni. Jason Alexander must have been about 20 or 22 in that movie. Still looked 45. Like, fucking, how old was this guy when he was born? Just looking exactly the same, just full head of hair. It had Holly Hunter in a small role in it. And
Stephen Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher Stevens.
Fisher Stevens, that's what it is.
Fisher Stevens. Play a character named Woodstock, like looks totally different. Like he looks like he's 12, but you can still tell it's Fisher Stevens. Like this is when his head was still skinny enough to match his neck. Yes. It's before he got that big square head. Like it's weird. But yeah, and there's a really cool scene in it where because the campers, they have this big canoe thing. Everyone's out with these canoes, and they stop, and then all their canoes are gone. They're like, "Where the fuck are our canoes?" So they build a fucking raft. Mm. We gotta get back to our fucking camp. We what the fuck? So they make this fucking raft, and they're floating out. They find a canoe. They're like, "Oh shit, there's our canoe." And it's creeping up, and you're like, "Oh man, Cropsey was just fucking with these guys. There's gonna be a dead body in the fucking canoe." And you're like, "Oh man, they're gonna find a dead body." Nope, Cropsey's in the fucking canoe. Fucking kills 4 of them. Boom, 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 right in one shot like that. It's an awesome scene. Awesome scene.
Infamous scene. Was censored many times.
Ah, what a crock of shit. It's a great scene.
Yeah, absolutely. But
because you're expecting a body in this fucking thing. Because that's just what they do in these fucking movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nope. They're killing 4 kids at once. Bang, bang, bang. With the fucking garden shears. I loved it.
Yeah, it's cool because you don't see that very often. It's like a quick cut sequence, of multiple deaths.
It's nasty too. It's very effective. It's a nasty little scene with some good, they got cutting fingers off. You got a bitch getting her fucking throat cut, fucking stabbed. There's blood, there's gashes. It's good. It's good stuff. Why do we like to watch teenagers get murdered? There's the real question.
That's a good question. I think
because everybody fucking hates teenagers. That's why.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you believe in the theory it's jealousy because we are not young anymore?
Well, yeah, but they're just so obnoxious and annoying.
I think so too. Yeah, maybe.
You know what
maybe
I'm saying?
A little bit of both.
Well, I guess too. If you kill somebody who's like 28 and has bills, you're like happy they're dead because you wish that could happen to you. They don't have to pay your anymore.
It's true. Yeah. But
you son of a bitch, you got taken out early.
Yeah, I mean, that's something interesting maybe. That at our times, yeah, even when we were teenagers, we enjoy seeing teenagers being killed, right? And nowadays...
we all hated each other as
Yeah,
teenagers.
and nowadays it's like it doesn't go over well with the millennial generation, if you ever
Oh,
noticed.
because they're fucking pussies, man. They grew up with nothing. They grew up on fucking Scream.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everything was, like, kind of jokey, and everything's kind of soft and apologetic. You know what I'm saying? It's like, ha, come on, laugh along with us as this killer kills people. Ha, 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 look at this guy. He knows about horror movies.
Yeah, I think.
He's gonna be self-referential. Ha, ha, ha. Get it? Everybody get it? There's a safe plexiglass window to watch through.
Yeah, it's like those movies made the ones like Burning. That's the movies that make us grow up into those self-loathing adults that we are, right?
Of course, as we should be.
The Burning is like, I think this is like the better version of Friday the 13th, the superior version.
God, so much better.
Just
so much better.
Much more nasty, much more rough around the edges. You know what I mean? Much more
and
wilder.
And it's entertaining when people aren't being murdered.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, characters are interesting. Like they have the archetypes, but they're done well. Like, they're entertaining, they're interesting, they're funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, you enjoy the moments where you're hanging out with the campers.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the difference, I think. And that's what really stands out, is like, so many of these movies, like, you don't feel like you're hanging out with them. You feel like you're just watching these dull fucking idiots just waiting to be killed, sitting around a fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, moping. Or just trying to fuck, one or the other. But this is like, it's like a summer camp movie. It's like a fun summer camp movie from the 80s that just happens to have a fucking murderer. It's like Meatballs meets Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Seriously, we got the girls.
That way, yeah. That's true.
And they slow-mo shot when the chick's titties are bouncing as she's running, and you got fucking Jason Alexander fucking yucking it up with everybody, and it's fun. It's fun, and these characters are cool to hang out with, and then it's fun to watch them get chopped to pieces with a fucking set of gardening shears.
Absolutely great movie. Yeah, absolute fun movie.
Ah, well, what do you got going on next?
Okay, I'm going, this is a very different one. Stage Fright from 1987, also known as Aquarius, I think. And weird title, I don't know why. Directed by Michele Soavi, an Italian director. He made another few good horror movies. For example, The Church, for example, very good one. And a few other ones. And the story is just a lunatic who escaped from the asylum kills off the cast of a musical who are locked in a theater. That's the whole story.
Yes.
Just, I think, as I said, with teenagers, I mean, who likes musical actors, really? Who likes them?
Oh my god, you're gonna kill off the fucking drama club? I mean, that's like a fucking beautiful movie.
Absolutely.
Come on! And then you fucking hack them up, you know?
So yes, it's one of those really, you know, those disco aerobic musicals from the 80s, like those like Cats or all that stuff, you know. So it's even more enjoyable. So, you know, a few things unusual about this movie. First is that the victims are all adult. Second one is you immediately know who the murderer is. There's no twist to it. I can spoil this much. There's no twist to it. It's just a lunatic. Third one is that's also very interesting. Maybe it's a minor detail, but just got to me when I rewatched it. They never split up. They don't say, okay, let's go this way, so they can be killed off individually. But they always stay as a group. You know what I mean? Killer gets them anyways, so doesn't matter. And funny thing, he's wearing an owl mask that is actually a prop from the musical, and a chainsaw. So there's a guy with a chainsaw and an owl mask and a suit, wearing a suit, killing people. So that's makes for a great picture. You know what I mean? We're going to have another movie with that kind of weapon, but on the list. But I think chainsaw is always. This is one of, I think, the most nastiest methods, I think, in horror movies.
It's great.
To kill.
And yeah. I'm a big, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think, is probably safe to say my favorite horror film.
Yeah.
Because chainsaws are fucking horrifying.
Absolutely.
They're horrifying. You have a knife is quiet, a knife is quick and clean, you know? Freddy glove is just 5 knives or 4 knives. Axes, brutal.
Yeah, but it's quick.
You know, again, it's quick and it's quiet. But that fucking chainsaw, this giant, loud, fucking, it's like it's screaming death at you, is this fucking thing. And we'll just, have you ever watched like real videos of like cartels like cutting people up with chainsaws and shit?
Yeah, I saw those.
Yeah, right? It's crazy, right? Because you gotta see, you're like, alright, let's see if these movies know what they're doing. So you gotta watch the real shit. I watched motherfucker get his head cut off with a chainsaw.
My God.
Honestly, I'm like, I would totally take the chainsaw over these little kitchen knives they usually use, where it takes them like 10 minutes just to get through the fucking vertebrae. Chainsaw was nice and quick. But what I love this one video in particular I saw, Chainsaw comes, kind of gets the guy like right at, like in the lower neck and chest, and they kind of missed. So this dude had a moment to go, oh fuck, and think about it. And then they had to go right back in and lop it off. It was nice and clean and easy though. It was like, he had it much easier because usually they use these little kitchen knives, and fuck that shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a messy weapon also, you know what I mean?
Oh, splattering everywhere, and yeah.
It's just a really messy weapon, so I think...
Turns you into jello.
In all the countries here in Europe where the censorship regarding violent movies was a little stronger, like in the German-speaking area, also in the UK, if there was just a mention of a chainsaw in the title or something with a chainsaw, the movie was usually banned in an instant.
Oh,
you
wow.
know? It was just a red flag. Chainsaw, the word itself was a red flag for censorship. For censors. Yeah, this one fun movie, very 80s movie, very American style actually, not that Italian looking movie. Yeah, they made a lot of 4 American movies at that time, the Italians.
Oh, they were very popular at the time.
Like also very good movie from the same year, Nightmare Beach by Umberto Lenzi. Can also recommend this one.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
With Michael Parks and John Saxon. Do you think, Nick, the slasher genre still has a relevance today?
I do, because, well, it may not be, you know, hot, if you want to call it that, but I think that something like that will always be relevant because it's the guy walking down the street being a potential killer will always be scary. You know what I'm saying? It resonates with people, and that's a big part of probably why they're still so popular, because you see a monster, a werewolf, or a vampire, or a ghost, you're like, that ain't fucking real, you know? But some fucking dude walking around with a knife just randomly stabbing people is very real. It does happen.
Yeah.
You know, there are always there's serial killers walking around right now as we speak.
Yeah.
It's scary. So I think it will always have relevance because it will always tap into a very real life fear.
Do you think you could say maybe actually because those movies are ridiculous, maybe it's maybe a good way to process those real fears. You know what I mean? Oh,
of course. And you really got to drive it home. You know, when you do these, and people still want to have fun when they see a horror movie. There's only so many ways you can go with fun with a slasher movie. You know, so, and plus, you know, they're all just trying to top each other as well. You know, back in the 80s, especially when they were just banging out these slashers like fucking crazy. Everybody wanted to top the last one to come out, the bloodier, and the kills started getting very creative and really, really wild shit. And, people enjoyed it, you know?
Yeah.
They like creative deaths, and again, people are drawn to it because I think even those over the top type murders, you could still kind of detach from reality a little. There's no mass killer just fucking throwing fucking hatchets, you know, 50 yards through the fucking woods and nailing you right between the eyes. You know, that shit just isn't happening in real life. So we can all have a good laugh about that one. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's the same with the ridiculous twists at the end, of course, about the identity. I mean, I think the slasher movie should maybe evolve a little, I think. I think there have been too many, I could say that in general, movies trying to deconstruct the genre or deconstruct horror movies in general. I mean, those movies, there are great movies among them, no doubt. But I think it's maybe time to just run with the cliches again, but maybe let them evolve a little, change them, mix them up a little, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think certain archetypes just don't exist anymore in that way. We know them. You know what I mean? I mean, archetypes are fine, cliche are fun, no problem. But I mean, who wouldn't enjoy seeing millennials killed, apart from the millennials themselves?
Everybody would, while they're all walking around on their phones.
Who seem to be very serious about themselves, you know what I mean? It's maybe also a reason, maybe we just took ourselves not too seriously. We were young, I don't know.
That's true, we were a very questioning and brooding generation, where we were mad at our parents for being bad parents because they were a bunch of pot-smoking hippies growing up.
That's true.
But I don't know. I think to do a slasher movie today that would appeal to older generations is every time you have these teenagers, every time one of them is ignoring a good time to stare into their phone, they get killed. That's the new sneaking off to have sex.
Yeah, that's maybe interesting. Maybe an interesting approach.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. People used to go smoke pot and have sex and they get killed. And now kids are like, meh, and looking in their phones instead of having a good time. And then they get killed every time they look into their phone.
That's not a bad concept, maybe.
And then the twist is, it was the guy from the Apple store the whole time, killing everybody.
That's a good one.
Because he was mad. He was mad they bought, I don't know, Androids or whatever the fuck those things are called.
Or maybe his sister from the Norwegian store, actually, then.
Yeah. Or maybe it was some dude who just wanted to get laid, but all these chicks are always looking in their phones.
Maybe, yeah. The porn-addicted neighbor. Okay, number 2, I think. We're already at number 2.
Yes, the fucking New York Ripper.
Yeah, good. Very good choice.
From the godson of gore, Lucio Fulci. Hey, you like that? All right.
Just wants to ask, yeah.
Godson of gore, Lucio Fulci. New York Ripper. What a fucking movie this is. This movie is so mean. This movie's just mean.
Yeah.
It's mean. It's pure sleaze in the best ways. It's not fun sleaze. It's real sleaze, which is fun. Really, it's fun. It holds such a disdain towards women, which this day and age doesn't fly.
For reasons, yeah.
Understandable. But that's why we need these. That's why we need these time capsules preserved.
Absolutely.
But it's essentially like a Jack the Ripper story. Set in New York City in the early 80s. You got a very nice, grimy, filthy New York City that we love from the 70s and early 80s in movies. You got a killer going around brutally murdering, like, prostitutes and promiscuous women and all that good stuff. Sex workers and the like. And these murders are fucking nasty. Just gutting women, just right down that fucking knife. Now, the most fantastic part about this, and it's very much a giallo. You get the mysterious killer. You don't know who the killer is. It's the killer is always off screen. You just see the hand with the weapons and all that fun stuff. Fucking movies loaded with red herrings. Maybe it's this person. Maybe it's this person. Oh, you think it's like, and they're all ridiculous. But the fucking killer makes these Donald Duck sounds while fucking murdering. Like, literally while hacking these women up. And then like, look at you, you're a whore. No exaggeration. Apps, right? You've seen it, right?
Yeah, of course. Years ago, but I remember, I know. Yeah. That's one of the more weird parts of the...
It's fucking great. It is great. I don't know if it's hilarious or ultra disturbing. The glee. Even calling the police to fuck with the police. Like, man, I'm gonna kill that slut, man. They even listen to me, duck. The cops call a duck. Like, it's great. Like, it totally is aware of we're doing a whole Donald Duck thing with this killer.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to me. But there are some brutal fucking deaths. There's lots of nudity and full bush and women tied up and being fucking mutilated. All the stuff you want to see. My favorite kill in the movie, certainly towards the end, when you got the one woman tied up and drag a razor blade from the forehead right down through the eyeball, nice and slow. That was right after going down the tit, like we're cutting that nipple right in half. That's good stuff. Just slowly cuts her up with a razor blade. That eyeball shot is excellent. Because something about eyeballs, like, it really, that one's always makes you cringe because it's just terrible to think of. And, but New York Ripper is really, really a lot of fun. Like, what is it with Italian movies and I know you have said about Darren Aronofsky how you feel he directs films like he's an alien who doesn't understand fucking people,
Yes.
Which I think is funny. I'll tell you, a lot of these fucking Italian fucking directors, that's how I feel about their work. The interactions between the characters are just too goddamn much.
Yeah,
like the dialogue and the way they speak to each other. It's like we are pretending to be people now. Like if you listen to the dialogue and just the way they go back and forth, and I've noticed it in almost every fucking Italian horror movie I've ever seen.
It's very stiff. Yeah, it's very.
It's so funny. I'm gonna go fix something to eat. Ha ha. Okay. Like, and the dubbing is always the worst. You always know you're watching an Italian movie by the shit dubbing. Because interesting, and I know this is a question that I've seen pop up a lot in people I've talked to that I watch Italian movies with, or I see it online. Is why is the dubbing always so fucking bad on these movies? I'll tell them because they have these Italian actors. Sometimes you have it's recorded in fucking Italian and then they dub over in English. Okay, there's that. But then there's times where you can see like the words match, but they don't match at all. It's because they'll have these Italian actors speak in English dialogue or broken ass fucking English, and then they have English speaking actors come in and redub all the lines and they'll put it over it. So this shit just doesn't fucking match. So it just seems like it's just really weird. Because they're saying the words, but why doesn't it fucking match? And so I just wanted to get that out there for all you people who are curious, because I've been hit with that question a ton of times, and I've seen that question online a lot of times, and it seems that some people don't really understand how the whole Italian horror movie thing works. It's a bizarre way to make a movie, but hey, they do it, and fuck it, it's part of the charm.
Absolutely, yeah, it is. I don't remember. Was there an explanation why he talks like Donald Duck?
They don't say. Like, well, I mean, you find out it's just this other character. You find out it's this character that you've seen through the movie, but they don't. It's just what he does.
I think there's some
He's
really
just crazy,
rather unsound psychological explanation for his.
Yeah, he's a fucking nut. He's a nut, and he's just enjoying the shit out of it.
You know, there was a movie by Lucio Fulci from 1972, I think, or 1970. Don't Torture Duckling.
Duckling, yeah. I was wondering if that was some kind of callback to that.
Because, yeah, they called it Don't Torture Duckling. It was originally called Don't Torture Donald Duck. Because the title refers to a Donald Duck doll, one of the dead kids lost, you know. But that's the first thing you find. But they said, no, it's maybe not a good idea to call it this way. Disney always been a bit of a litigious company. So maybe I'm wondering if that was some kind of self-reference or something. I don't know. It's also weird.
It's great.
This is a completely different. I watched some Lucio Fulci movies I have never seen before, to my shame. Recently from the 70s, like Lizard in a Woman's Skin and Don't Touch a Duckling. And it's a completely different style. Then he got more and more meaner over the years.
Oh yeah, yeah, he didn't soften with age.
No, on the contrary, he got even more misanthropic, even more bitter. Maybe because I was also suffering from hepatitis, I think. That's very interesting, yeah. And his movies, he started out very style was very dynamic at first, very fast paced, and then later it got very slow and grinding, all that stuff, the drawn-out death scenes and all that stuff.
Yeah, his focus was just on being nasty.
Yeah, really a nasty movie, yeah. And one thing maybe I want to say, because about all that misogyny and what you said in the beginning, you know, this may be, okay, there's maybe a bit of a controversial opinion here, but in a certain thing, I mean, a certain way, you could say, yeah, I mean, it's not debatable. This is of course kind of awful, but on the other hand, you could say those directors, they put themselves out there with that shit. You know what I mean? They didn't hide behind anything there.
Some honest filmmaking.
In some way it is. You know what I mean?
I want to mention one more thing about, this will be brief, about New York Ripper. The fucking opening scene. The opening scene is too fucking much. It's some guy down by the water, by the harbor, whatever, in New York, with his dog. And you got your terrible dialogue with his dog going on, and the terrible voiceover, like, get it, girl, get it, go ahead, get it, girl. Yeah, it's a good girl, that's a good girl, there's a good girl, look at the good girl. And this dog's digging around in the grass, get it, good girl. And comes out with this fucking rotted, severed hand, right? Yeah. Camera zooms in on this fucking rotted, severed hand, freezes, and then you get and then just busts into this fucking funky ass theme music. And you're watching these opening New York Ripper. Boom. The fucking opening titles, opening fucking credits, just frozen for 5 minutes on this rotted ass hand with this funky music playing, and you're like, yeah, I know what I'm in for. That shit sets the fucking tone so well.
Well, it's also a disconnect always in the Italian movies with the music and what happened on screen. That's not a...
It's like a poor man's Lalo Schifrin fucking music, you know, from Dirty Harry. You got the fucking congas and shit, and doo-doo-doo, and the dramatic strings, and it's good stuff.
Somebody called for you.
Yeah, who?
The guy with a strange voice. Said he'd call you back. He sounded just like a duck.
Just like a duck.
What do you got for number 2?
Blood Moon, also from the year 1981. We visited that year by Jesus. Also known as Jess Franco. The plot is simple, you wouldn't guess it. A killer is decimating the girls of a Spanish language school, and it might or might not be the work of a disfigured guy who is in love with his sister, and they are trying to kill off the people who could potentially know of the incestuous relationship. It's a little, there's of course a twist in there. And yeah, fun movie. It's for a Jess Franco movie, very straightforward for a change. It's not as trippy. It's rather straightforward slasher movie actually.
Yeah, I like Jess Franco. He's made some pretty wild shit.
Yeah, this is absolutely, it's an absolutely glorious movie actually. As I said before, they have A great disco Eurodance, Euro disco trash soundtrack. Also, good stuff. Very nasty though. Very nasty kills.
Yes.
It was called in German Die Säge des Todes, the saw of death. There are two kills with a saw, one with a big saw like that is used for cutting marble in a marble quarry. Another one with a saw you use for trimming hedges. There's also a very random scene of kid being run over by a Rolls Royce.
I like that. Not enough little children being killed in movies.
Kid was the witness of a murder, runs away. Of course, it has to run in the middle of the street. It's run over by a car. Yeah, hilarious movie. Just some really good dialogue in there. This is Antonio. He is the swimming teacher, the tennis teacher, and the best at fucking in this area.
I love it. I love it so much.
Lots of nudity, of course, in this movie. Very colorful movie. Also, actually, craftsman-wise, not too bad. I have to admit. Maybe this was from a time when he was still better as a craftsman. I mean, he deteriorated quickly after some time.
Well, he's made like 500 movies.
Yeah. So, can't blame him.
I mean, he had a good run.
Yeah. So, this is one of his better ones in terms of craftsmanship, I could say.
It's one. I got a nice little list here. Shit, I got to get to.
Uh-huh. So, what's your number 2?
This is my number 1, Chief.
I'm number 1. Oh, sorry.
I'm going with motherfucking Maniac.
Alright, it's a good choice.
It's just called Maniac. The motherfucker was my own doing. Maniac from 1980. We're going a little before 81 here. By William Lustig, who's known for doing like the Maniac cop movies, right?
Yeah. All three.
Maniac, huh?
All 3 Maniac cops.
All 3 of them, which probably is best known work. But Maniac is fucking delightful because Maniac has grime, the filth, the fucking nastiness of the New York Ripper. But it's got pathos and it's got great psychological angle to it. With a very interesting, very likable, and equally detestable killer. Yeah. Played by Joe Spinell as fucking Frank Zito. Frank Zito is a fucking mole man who loves to murder women. He has serious fucking issues from childhood abuse. He likes to murder women, scalp them, put their scalps on his mannequins that he keeps in his dingy little apartment. And has his little fucking crazy lunatic freakouts with his mannequins. He has some nasty deaths. He is fucking hideous as the man is. His character is very charming and manages to pull some pretty hot trim, like fucking Carolyn Monroe. Like, I have such a hard time buying that. Here you have, she's a hot model. Yeah. And she's falling for the charms of fucking Joe Spinell, who, if you've never seen this guy, he looks like he might murder you. Like, he's just a fucking hideous guy. I mean, but we can set that aside. Yeah. Some hot chicks have been used and abused by so many fucking good-looking dudes. Hey, they get to a certain point, they start going out with the Joe Spinells of the world because they're nice to them. So hey, let's just throw that out there and go with that. But there's a very classic horror movie kill where Tom Savini, who I believe also did the effects for the movie. Yeah. He plays a guy who's in like a car on it with his date, and Joe Spinell, Frank Zito, fucking comes up with the fucking gun and just blows his fucking head off. Great head exploding scene. Yeah. Boom. Classic. Brutal. Scene. Oh yeah. Sudden, brutal, explosive. It's great. It's everything you can want in a head exploding scene. And that shit's excellent. But it's so cool because Frank Zito is such a great movie maniac. And there's a great little stalking scene in subway tunnels in the bathroom. You have it builds up some nice tension. You have nasty kills. The mannequin shit's just bizarre and wonderful. And a part of you kind of feels for the guy because this guy is a maniac, but this is a fucked up dude. So, I wouldn't know if I'd call him sympathetic. I think it makes him a little scarier because of how fucking unhinged he is. But he's interesting, and he's interesting to watch. And Joe Spinell was a very good actor. Absolutely. He was a very good actor. And he sells the shit out of it. He's not cheesy in it. He's not it's not real campy. He's great. He's a great actor. And, it's a shame he had his bizarre early death in real life, which let me share with you for a moment. He fucking died just very suddenly. He I can't remember what happened. Did he hit his head or he was having like headaches or something and he just fucking laid down and fucking died. Like I forget the whole story. I shouldn't have even gotten into it. But yeah, he had a very sudden early death, which was just too bad. Not long after this movie, actually. But he was a great actor. And Maniac's not for everyone. If you're not into gore and if you get a little squeamish, I can't say I recommend it. But if you want to see like a nasty little film with a little psychology going on there. Check it out. It's certainly worth your time because it's very entertaining and it's pretty fucking brutal. And it has that grimy, disgusting New York of old that I love to see on film.
I think William Lustig has always been a bit of a cadaver among the B-movie directors.
Yeah, he certainly hasn't done enough. He hasn't done enough work.
I mean, I think he has always been a good craftsman.
Yes.
Actually, so I love the Maniac Cop movies. In one scene, Joe Spinell, he's the sleazebag, and then he just puts on a turtleneck and a jacket, a cheap jacket, a cheap turtleneck, and then he's sort of Mr. Charming.
Yeah, and he's good. He is charming.
And I wonder if it was inspired. There's a Mario Bava movie called Hatchet for the Honeymoon.
Yes.
And there's also this the maniac in that movie is also working in the fashion industry, and he has this secret cabinet like Joe Spinell in Maniac with mannequins. I wonder if it was inspired by that movie a little. I don't know.
Another good mannequin movie is fucking Tourist Trap.
Oh yeah, absolutely good. I absolutely
Great
want to. Yeah, absolutely great non-sequelized slasher too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have made the
great.
list. Yeah.
Another thing about Maniac too is I don't know. Did you see the remake with Elijah Wood?
Yeah, I thought it's good actually.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's an easier watch than the original. It's more style, less nasty bits. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing. I think to make the perfect Maniac film, you need to kind of combine the two because Elijah Wood, you can buy him scoring some decent looking chicks. You know, he's not a bad looking guy, but he acts like a fucking creep.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he acts so off-putting, and he acts like a fucking weirdo. Where if you could have someone who's a little better looking, but with fucking Joe Spinell's personality, you could totally 100% buy this character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that's all I was thinking the whole time I'm watching the remake. I'm like, if Joe Spinell looked a little more like Elijah Wood, but if Elijah Wood acted a little more like Joe Spinell, we'd have the perfect Frank Zito here. He'd be totally fucking here. But you got this fucking mole man with the charm, and then you got the fucking little boy cuteness with the fucking acting like a murderer, acting like he's gonna snap at any moment. He acted like such a creep. He was great in it, but he wasn't very believable as like a ladies' man. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the remake is very good. I recommend it. One of the few horror remakes that are really fucking good.
Yeah, I think Alexandre Ocha produced it. He's kind of the master behind good horror remakes, behind the good ones.
I like his work. He's good.
Absolutely, yeah. He made, I think The Hills of Ice is actually the one horror movie that is better than the original, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was great.
And maybe one thing about Maniac, very interesting trope. That's a trope that was present throughout the 80s, is the surreal, suddenly epilogue. You have a movie that is straightforward and no supernatural elements, and then it suddenly, sometimes in the last second, something surreal happens. I think that started maybe with Friday the 13th, when suddenly that Jason is coming out of the lake. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
Like a Maniac. I mean, I can spoil it here. I think it's the mannequins are coming alive suddenly and killing off Josie. Which in this movie it works very well, but this trope didn't always work very well in other movies.
No, it's really well done in the film.
Yeah.
Because you're like, whoa, this motherfucker's crazy. Like, because because it's believable that you're like in his head.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's why it works, because they just, I don't know, it's just really well done.
Yeah. Okay, I go with my number one. And that's a movie we discussed before, and we had a little debate who is going to take this movie because we both love it a lot.
Oh yeah.
And it's Pieces from 1982 by Juan Piquer Simon. I hope I pronounced it correctly. So this is about this killer. This is also maybe a trope, maybe spawned by Halloween. You see in a prologue sequence how he became a madman, and it is because his strictly religious mother caught him putting together an erotic puzzle of a playmate. It's just too funny. And so he kills her with an axe, right? Escapes, and then we flash forward to a boarding school, and suddenly girls get offed by some unknown killer. There's also some completely unrelated death where the chick is going through the glass. I don't know if you remember. Doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie, but whatever. And so there's of course the guessing game who grew up to be the crazy killer, right? There's such a sincerity to this movie, yeah. If you didn't know it was intended, you might think it was an over the top satire of slasher movies. but it's actually very sincere, right?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, it's got some amazing dialogue.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, my,
I mean,
my
we
favorite
have
quote. Yeah.
the bastard scream is great. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You got to see it to understand. And that young lady who says that there's nothing more beautiful than getting stoned and fucking on a waterbed or some shit.
I had to copy paste it. It's the most beautiful thing in the world is smoking pot and fucking on a waterbed at the same time.
Yes, and it's the way she says it. You know, there's nothing more beautiful than smoking pot and fucking on a waterbed at the same time. Like, she says it with such passion and gusto.
And they see, you know, these nasty teams who need to be punished, you know, for their moral misconduct. It's just summed up in this sentence, right? Yeah.
They're up to no good. They need to be taken out. And the kill scenes are fucking great because they're just ridiculous. Chainsaws and rah, his arms just flying off like it's almost as if they're attached to fishing wire and someone's pulling them around. You know?
I just love the scene. There's also this classic scene. A girl goes into an elevator and this stranger, you don't see his face, and he comes to her. You know, this is a typical horror movie thriller scene. He still squeezes himself into the elevator, right? Oh, he has a chainsaw hidden right under his trench coat, you know?
Yeah. That's fucking magic.
Just, you know, the most innocuous, easily to hide weapon. a fucking giant chainsaw under his trench coat.
It's not one of those like little ones that you use on your hedges either. This is a fucking chainsaw. Like, you know, and the way I discovered this movie was great too. I was about 24 or so, and I was just, you know, working full time and didn't really have many bills, and I'm fucking just loading up on fucking DVDs whenever I could. And I'm in Suncoast Motion Picture Company store in the mall, and I'm looking, and they always had really good horror selection. A little pricey, but you could find a lot of shit you weren't finding anywhere else. And I'm looking like in their little budget section. Everything, all DVDs, $5. Most of it's fucking bullshit. 5 episodes of the Andy Griffith Show and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And then I see Pieces, which I had never even heard of. And the cover was the woman with the stitches on her body and this big fucking chainsaw over the body. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's
like
great. Yeah.
Movie poster. And it said Pieces. And the tagline was, "It's exactly what you think it is." And I was like, fuck, I think I need to pick this up. Like, with $5, I hope it's what I think it is. Oh, and it was so much more than I fucking bargained for. I went home, I popped it right on, and I was just like, my fucking jaw was dropped, and I was just fucking laughing my ass off. Like, this movie is fucking extraordinary.
Absolutely. It's endlessly rewatchable, too.
Oh my god. You'll find something new to laugh at every time.
Great nudity, too, in this movie, if I may say.
Oh, yeah, great nudity. Now, there's a story I heard about this film, too, because after I watched it, I went online to find any kind of information I could about it. And I had seen the story kind of circulating through the old Usenet forums on horror movies, that there was a deleted hardcore blowjob scene in the movie that was in European releases, but then was cut and then no one has ever seen again.
There are a few movies like that. Like that. Sometimes it's a romance, it's not true, but I have seen a few movies. Sometimes they edit the hardcore parts later, then cut it out again, or it was already in the movie and then they cut it out for R-rated version or something, you know what I mean. The funny thing is, if you watch those movies with the hardcore scenes edited in, it doesn't add up.
No.
I don't know. I mean, this is a whole new discussion if real sex ever belongs into normal movies. I don't think it works very often. I think they tried, but
it's too intrusive.
It is, yeah.
You know, it is because
maybe because we're used to it. I don't know. Just seeing it in porn.
I think too is that there's no point in showing hardcore sex in a film unless you're going to have a lengthier scene of it.
Mm.
You know, you're never going to see something where you just watch a dude slip his dick into a woman and then it cuts. I mean, and just think about how weird that would be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You watch some dude take his dick out, shove it in a woman, and then boom, and it's the next day and they're at the tennis courts. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't have the same smooth transition as, say, kiss, shut off the light, cut to the end of the scene.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is, you know what's going to happen. It has a smooth transition, and then you get on with it in the next scene. Then they're at the tennis courts and everything. Hey, they fucked and now they're playing tennis. And then that's it. You forget about it.
Mm.
You know? I don't know. It's weird. I think it's just something that's a little too, just too much.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that, yeah. So
I don't know. It's like because it's a different movie. I don't know. It's different. It's just you need porn for that. And I like I don't know. And I like watching people fuck. But
yeah, no, but I think it's difficult to realize. Yeah, so it makes sense narratively. So yeah, but great movie.
But here I was just a few minutes ago celebrating fully nude women tied up in beds being sliced up with razors. So what do I know?
But overall, great movie. I'd say. Also the police, the inept policeman.
I gotta say too, the killer reveal was pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad, actually.
Decent mystery going on.
Mm-hmm. But it's also a trope that came over from the Italian, from Giallo, the inept police.
Yeah, the police are always fucking useless.
Also has one of those weird epilogue scenes, yeah?
Yeah.
Stupid, yeah.
Very thoughtful.
Everybody
should see all these movies.
It's a treasure trove of a movie. Yeah, so maybe have you a list of runner-ups?
Oh, God. Oh, what the fuck, slashers? I don't know, I enjoyed,
Mad Men? Have you seen that one?
I never saw Mad Men.
Oh, Mad Men is great. It's like the most rudimentary slasher movie you could think of. So it's like a movie that was invented by 12-year-olds.
Then I like the sound of that.
Also, great Intruder. We talked about that one last time.
Ah, yes.
By Scott Spiegel. Very, very nasty too. Curtains is also one I like from Canada. Canadians actually made a few good slasher movies. There are a few other ones.
Sleepaway. Oh, well, that one has sequels. I can't even.
Yeah, Sleepaway. Yeah, it's weird though. Nobody remembers the sequels. Yeah,
but the first one's great.
The sequels are great.
The first one's great. Yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about that though.
Fun, interesting though. I think those were one of the first that took the self-aware route. The sequels.
Yeah.
Not successfully. Yeah, sure. And okay, Nick, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. People out there, have a happy Halloween. Check out the movies we just discussed.
Watch them all.
You won't regret it. Have a nice evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
And you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. Pieces. It's exactly what you think it is.